Let me check one more thing. And I believe we are live, guys. Welcome back to the Chicago Conservative live stream edition, guys. Today, we're going to be talking about something very, very, very interesting. It's looking like Joe Biden got the big C, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I'm not about to say that, I'm about to do a backflip or anything. But, I mean, to me, it's just looking like they've been hiding the inevitable. Everybody knew Joe Biden was sick, very sick. And, it was only a matter of time before people saw his cognitive decline. I mean, everybody knew he had, I want to say dementia in 2019. People say 2020, but I believe it's 2019, guys. But without further ado, guys, we're just going to be looking at a few videos and we're just going to be checking out this story. So I don't know if it's prostate cancer or like colon cancer or anything. I believe it's prostate cancer, but we're going to look more into this, guys. So let's roll the clip.
Are mounting over former President Joe Biden's shocking stage 4 prostate cancer diagnosis, which has aggressively spread to his bones. While we wish the former president well, a key ally of the Obama administration is asking why it wasn't caught sooner.
He did not develop it in the last 100, 200 days. He had it while he was president. He probably had it at the start of his presidency in 2021. Yes, that,
Right.
I don't think there's any disagreement about that.
So the shocking cancer diagnosis follows a brutal week for President.
Let me just break this down on how evil this is, guys. Let me just break this down on how evil this is. So basically, not saying it's true, but I'm almost for certain that Biden been had prostate cancer during all of his time running as president, during his time as president in 2020. I mean, let's be real here, guys. If he had some type of cancer, he would have been gotten it, which I believe he already did. And when it comes down to it, the Democrats knew this. The Democrats knew exactly that this man had prostate cancer, yet they paraded him around, pumped him up with drugs and things like that. So now it's like, what if he would have died? And they would have said, oh, he died of cancer. And then everybody would have been basically in a bubble, not knowing that Joe Biden had cancer. That's pretty crazy. You guys were trying to hide the inevitable, man.
Former President Biden, as a new book and the release of the long-awaited Her tapes exposed more troubling instances of a mental decline that was covered up and hidden from the public. But some of the media are already suggesting the cancer diagnosis might earn the former president a little breathing room from all the scrutiny.
Those conversations are going to happen, but they should be more muted and set aside for now as he's struggling through this.
It seems to me, Jessica, this debate doesn't end at all, but it is briefly put on pause as a result of today's news.
But the Her audio release continues to reverberate as Democrats and the media try to learn lessons from the cover-up.
Now, I heard about this audio. Now, I'm going to have to find it, but I definitely know for a fact what audio they're talking about. I think they admitted to Joe Biden not being, healthy or something like that.
It's a crime against this republic, and I think the Democrats are going to pay for a long time.
I hate Van Jones' guts, bro. Talking about Dems will pay for Biden cover-up. You were a part of the cover-up. What are you talking about, Van Jones? What are you talking about? You and Hakeem Jeffries were the main two people when it comes to the black community trying to cover up for this man. Hakeem, what you were saying? Oh, he was smoking. What was y'all saying at the State of the Union speech? What was y'all saying at the State of the Union speech? He was smoking Joe. He's lit. He's all these other things. He can definitely do it. Nothing's wrong with Joe Biden. Guys, they're forgetting the State of the Union speech when it came to Joe Biden. The Democrats lost their minds. They thought this dude was like Biden in his prime. They knew for a fact Joe Biden was not capable of doing this job. Van Jones, if this is your real words, saying the Dems will pay for Biden's cover-up, you might as well hit yourself in the head, buddy, because you were one of them.
For being a part of what is now being revealed to be a massive cover-up. We need to apologize to the American people that we were a part of something that wasn't on the up and up.
But ultimately, in retrospect, you can't defend what the Democratic Party did because we are stuck with a madman, with a corrupt president in the Oval Office, and we should have given ourselves a better.
NBC, Meet the Press. Come on, man. Biased news. This is exactly why Trump won. You guys aren't going to talk about any policy like at all, though. At all. These people aren't going to talk about any policy. Just a bunch of garbage.
Better chance to win.
Hindsight is 2020. Obviously, if we could redo this tape and play it over again, we would do things differently.
It's hard to convince somebody to give up their car keys.
Yeah, Jesse, we all wish the former president well. I mean, it's just absolutely awful for any family to learn this about their loved one. But there's a lot, it seems, that we are learning.
Man, look, I don't like this, bro. Like, it's bad that Joe Biden got cancer, but y'all, this man's Trump almost got assassinated twice. When nobody said, "Oh, I'm so sorry, Mr. President. I'm so sorry." Like, give me a break. This is what I be talking about with the double standards, bro. Trump could have had a bullet in his head. Literally missed by inches, though. Then the other guy was set up at Trump International in Florida. This dude could have smoked Trump if his Secret Service was incompetent. Trump could have died twice. But Biden gets cancer and Biden has cancer. Like, come on, man. Like, it is pretty bad. But at the end of the day, like, I'm not about to boo-hoo and cry because this dude got cancer, man. When Trump almost got assassinated twice.
Learning in the last 24 hours, a lot, it seems that.
How much should good car insurance cost you a month? $80? $100?
Okay.
Perhaps we didn't know along the way. What do you make of all this?
Well, first, my heart goes out to the Bidens and the Biden family. Very unfortunate diagnosis, and we hope he beats it. But a lot of people are speculating whether this was medical malpractice or whether this was a medical cover-up. And we have every right to speculate because they have been caught in so many lies. Now,
I want to know, how did this information get out in the first place? How do people know Biden has cancer now? How does that even become news, you know? I'm confused here. But even so, it's like, why didn't we know? Because listen, guys, we know that Joe Biden had cancer. That's just my opinion. And I want to know, why are they just now telling us this? Is it because Trump won?
Now, so the medical cover-up is not being said by Jesse Waters. It's being said all over the media by Democrats and by physicians. They're saying that this was caught possibly earlier, and then nothing was released, and then possibly exposed as a way to blunt the impact of the Her Report audio release and the book. Now, I don't think that's possible, but at this point, anything's possible. The other one is the medical malpractice. How are you not going to give a guy a PSA test? How are you not going to give someone a test and then not release the results?
Right.
Did they not give this test to Joe Biden because they gave it to the last three presidents, and then they released the PSA numbers?
Very interesting, guys. This is a cover-up. It is smelling like a cover-up, I should say. Smelling like a cover-up, man. And the only reason why is because you guys did this for the last three presidents, but you guys didn't release it for Joe Biden. Why is that? Come on.
So who knows if he even got tested? He was supposed to have had a full test a year ago, and they said there was no cancer detected. Well, we need to know exactly what tests they did. And since 2000, Joe Biden has broken his foot. He's had skin cancer. He has had 2 horrible bouts with COVID-19. And then he was living as president with prostate cancer. And the entire media.
Like when you just put it all in line like that, that sounds kind of terrible. Skin cancer, COVID out the wazoo. You know what I'm saying? Prostate cancer, like, dude.
Media said he was healthy as an ox. And then they said he was running circles around Binder. And so this doctor, O'Connor, was his personal physician. There's a funny axiom that says, having a personal physician 24/7 around the clock is a leading indicator of death. A lot of celebrities, a lot of wealthy individuals have these doctors on call and they kind of give you anything and they're just there to protect the brand, there to protect the status and the job. That happens with some people, but this guy O'Connor takes it to a next level. This guy was brought in from Delaware and he was in business with the Biden family. And this is his oldest president in American history, probably the sickest sitting president of this century, and he never gave a press conference. In 4 years, O'Connor never came to the press and said, this is what the president is dealing with. He needs to be brought in, he needs to be subpoenaed, and he needs to answer some of these questions.
Man, Joe Biden can't answer any questions, Jesse. Come on, bro. This is an old senile man. We've tried to ask him questions. Like, he can barely answer. He probably don't even know what he ate this morning, dude. Like, let's be real. I'm not saying Joe Biden is bad, but look, this dude is really off his rocker. Seriously.
I can't believe if he had won, Joe Biden would have died in office. And
basically, that's what I'm saying. Like, we don't even know that this dude got cancer. You don't think that's something to, tell us?
Kamala would have been president, and the doctors and the media would have been like, oops, sorry, we missed it. Wow.
Right.
Wow.
Well, Howard, there are multiple experts who...
That's so scary. Oh, my gosh. Joe Biden dies and Kamala becomes president. Man, I would put it past her that she probably got him more sick.
Have lined up in the wake of this news to say, it would be shocking that this kind of cancer wasn't noticed during recent checkups, that it had to have been developing for quite some time. Howard Foreman, Yale Medical School, it's inconceivable that this was not being followed before he left the presidency. Urologist David Shusterman says it's insanely unlikely someone who gets annual checkups would not have noticed this developing cancer.
So my prayers, like yours, Jesse, go out to his family. This is a tough diagnosis. I have friends and family who have this, who've had the diagnosis, and I can only imagine a tough struggle and a tough road ahead. I align with Jesse on this. I think that the fact that the president of the United States
eating too much salt causes hypertension, right?
Oh, boy.
Getting as exhaustive of a review of a physical, of the kind of medical examination one would expect, and then to have all of that revealed to the public in 2025, 25 years into the 21st century. You combine that with some of the things that people were saying about President Biden throughout his presidency, the cognitive abilities, some of the mental health abilities, and then the fifth.
Yeah, we've been questioning that since 2019, sir. Not healthy.
Physical things that happened when he fell up the stairs, down the stairs, off his bike. We deserve better.
That's crazy.
I hope what we really learn from this. I'm not one to look backwards. Although I pray for
the Democrats pointing all the fingers, because this Harry, what's his name? I forget his name, but now the Democrats are basically kind of pointing fingers now, guys. You guys just heard what's his face, Van Jones, talking about, we have to hold we have to hold whoever was hiding Joe Biden's cognitive decline. We need to hold them accountable. What do you mean? You were one of them. You were one of the people that was hiding his cognitive decline. So who are you going to be mad at yourself? Like, I don't get it, Van Jones. You can't point fingers when you were part of the problem. You are a top Democrat of the Democratic Party nowadays.
For him. I hope that what we do going forward is to ask these doctors and physicians, just we got to have a different standard for all of this. When you think about the president's role of growing the economy, keeping the country safe, we're in basically a new economic Cold War with China, and Russia is emerging again. We need to know everything about our president, and this shouldn't be by chance, by any measure. I listen to Dr. Emanuel. He's far brighter than I am and more experienced and more educated than I am in these matters. I do have a dear friend whose wife got a stage 4 cancer diagnosis very late. They had not seen it before, and she had an injury and got the diagnosis and passed about a year later. So these things I imagine can happen, but when you are the president of the United States, with the kind of care the president should get, we should not be surprised by these things. But I'm like you, my thoughts and prayers are with he and his family. I know this road ahead is going to be a difficult one.
And again, we wish him the absolute best. Greg, is it fair for some in the media, including David Axelrod, now to be saying that we should set aside any talk about the cognitive cover-up during his presidency as he battles this cancer?
When they say something like that, you have to.
Yo, I love Greg Gutfeld, bro. This dude is hilarious. Bro. Greg Gutfeld, like, I watch him every morning, man, when I'm on my way to work. This dude is hilarious.
Believe that that's the reason why they're breaking the news now. So you do mute and you do pause. The timing is telling you that this cancer is being used as a tool to deflect from outrage to sympathy. But get this, normal human beings, we can have.
I kind of thought about that, but it's like, what would be the point, though? You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I do kind of see a point a little bit as to why they would want people to feel sorry for Joe Biden for them just now releasing the facts that he has cancer. I kind of see that because, you know, the Democrats are so pathetic. They need anything they can get right now. Say, oh, let's just go back to the Democratic Party all because Joe Biden has cancer. I wish the world worked like that, buddy, but it doesn't, okay? Because if that was the case, everybody be voting Trump after he got almost assassinated twice.
Yeah, both. We can feel sad for somebody who has cancer. Like Harold said, we all know people intimately who have cancer, are dying from cancer, and who will die of cancer. So we could feel sad, but that's not going to infringe on the space in my brain that is reserved and dedicated to this cover-up of his incapacitation. So you're not going to get a mute or a pause from me, but nice try. We're talking about, like, how could this happen?
Don't trade alone.
Right. I mean, we know how it happened. They just covered it up. This is what the DOJ was doing when it was under the Biden administration, guys. They would literally cover everything up, deny everything, even if it was
trade with me live using one.
Even if it was right in front of you, they would still deny it. These people are crazy.
We've always been saying about all of these problems in the last 8 years. How did this happen? How did this happen? How did this happen? I say 8 years because this has been going on before Biden was president. The neglect is on purpose. You know, for example, just focus on Joe Biden, the elder abuse line that we kept hearing. Why did it continue? Because
it was elder abuse, man. You guys are pumping him up with drugs. It's literally elder abuse. What else could it be? Come on, man.
Joe was docile and fragile and offering no resistance to any part of the progressive agenda. Joe's dysfunction may have been caused not by disability, but by debility, meaning he was worn down on purpose, deliberately kept feeble and weak, which made him pliable, like a POW, except the W stands for White House. Joe's dysfunction was not prevented when it could have been because it kept him easily managed. He was always tired. He probably didn't want to answer questions or sign things. So,
but he was the president at the time. You got to answer questions unless you can't answer the questions because, your brain isn't as sharp as it used to be. That's the only thing I could come up with. Because it's like, dude, you're the president of the United States. You owe the people an explanation. And if you can't give a straight answer or at least a cognitive answer, then something ain't right with you.
So we've seen a series of colossal blunders and deliberate cover-ups. All are ethically indefensible. All you can do if you're doing this stuff is tell yourself, consider the alternative. And the alternative to them was always Trump. That was their narrative. Like, they can cover up this guy who's physically and mentally feeble because look at the other guy. It's Trump. So Trump is an existential.
And that's all they have. But that's not going to work because Trump's not going to be in office in 2028, guys. Let's just keep it a stack. Trump is not going to be around in 2028. What's going on, Sharon? And the thing is this, guys. They're trying to ride this Trump thing until the wheels already fell off. Now they just riding on the axle. They riding on the rims now, guys. They're riding this Trump thing till the rims fall off. I don't even think I've even heard a term like that. Not till the wheels fall off, till the rim fall off, guys. That's insanity.
Threat. That narrative became justification for every kind of immoral behavior, including allowing violence, the implosion of a border, cover-ups, blatant illegal activity, siding with gangbangers up to now. Hamas
MS-13, Tren de la Agua, they definitely siding with gang members, guys.
You can approve of anything if you sell people the belief, you assign the opinion that Trump is an existential risk. They knew about all this stuff. They covered it up.
Well, we did see the media having to deal with the release of the her audio and the her tape today.
Yeah.
What appears to be the many stages of coping, Katie. Van Jones said that Democrats will pay for covering up Biden's decline for a, quote, long time.
Yeah, because this is a total betrayal of the American people. This is about breaking of trust, and it's very difficult to get it back once it's been broken. Now, in politics, trust can be a relative term because of the.
That's what I'm like, bro. Everybody are snakes in politics. There's another reason why Trump won. He's not a politician. People are forgetting that Trump is a populist. He's not with the establishment because he's a billionaire. Okay? Now, he did need a couple dollars this campaign but that's only because they they literally weaponized the government against Donald Trump, guys. They weaponized the government against this man. He had to spend all his money on legal fees, things like that, while also trying to campaign. I mean, it's crazy.
The industry that you're.
Meanwhile, Kamala Harris had $1 billion to campaign with, and she still lost, and now she's $20 million in debt currently.
Dealing with, but they covered up thing after thing after thing. And then when the American people who are part of this Republic Democratic process were allowed to ask questions about the president of the United States who was elected, they were told that they were crazy, that they were mean people for questioning the president's cognitive state, that they weren't empathetic. And now you're seeing that happening again with David Axelrod saying.
Gaslighting. That just sounds like another form of gaslighting. Oh, you're just talking about him because he's an old man. Like, come on, dude. Nobody's trying to talk about Joe Biden. Look at the guy. Look at the guy. The guy is literally falling over everywhere he walks, everywhere he goes, everywhere he moves. He's falling everywhere. Like, come on.
Saying, well, we can't really talk about it anymore. And the implication there is that if you dare to ask questions about the betrayal from the Biden White House, from the Democrats as a whole, then you're just not an empathetic person. You don't understand when people get diagnosed with cancer, when it's really a bigger issue of what's been going on for the last couple of years. I don't know how they get out of this, because in order to regain the trust that they've lost, you have to be very transparent, overwhelmingly. And yet they're still doubling down on on covering up and not talking about it. So politically, for them, it's very difficult for them to go out and say, you can trust us and believe us when we're talking about things that we'll do for you. And they can't even come to terms with the fact that this was obvious for years. The White House doctor not coming out to give press conferences, not answering any questions. I went back through all of the letters that the White House doctor put out, not a single mention of this. And also, it's kind of a betrayal to.
And that's actually an L on a doctor's end, guys, because that the doctor's duty, though, like that doctor took an oath to protect, and you know what I'm saying, like protect the people that needs to be not cared for, but attended to when it comes to medical assistance, guys. The doctor took an oath with this. And for this doctor to basically hide Biden's health all because of his campaign, that's actually kind of sick. That's actually breaking your oath.
The president. I mean, how did you not, if this is what they weren't doing, give someone of that age, the president of the United States, that kind of physical test? I mean, how could you not give the test?
Those questions will be asked for a long time. Many people watching right now go out and get those tests on a regular basis. Katie, thank you for that. Up next, Hillary Clinton and Tim Walz.
Hillary Clinton and Tim Walz? I'm going to have to stop it right there. I wonder, does he have stage 4 cancer? Ooh. Yeah, for sure. His wife should know that. I mean, his wife probably did know, you know, but she was probably told not to say anything due to a, you know, probably NDA. But yeah, guys, yeah, Biden has prostate cancer. That's kind of the end of the video right there, guys. I hate that it's a short video, not even 30 minutes in, but yeah, this is actually interesting because a lot of people are failing to realize that Americans aren't stupid. I didn't know it was cancer, like I didn't know it was that bad, but we all knew that this guy, Joe Biden, definitely wasn't on top of his game when it comes to his health, physically and mentally, ladies and gentlemen. So, like, I mean, I'm not really surprised that he has cancer. Now, do I want him to die? Yes, Joe Biden has cancer. Yes, guys, hit that like and subscribe for Joe getting cancer. Like, no, don't do that at all because that's actually weird. I would never even though Joe Biden has done a lot of weird stuff, two wrongs don't make a right, in my opinion. I don't really see, but I will call out the hypocrisy though. I will call out the bias when it comes down to it because nobody felt this bad about Trump almost dying in front of a camera, getting shot in the head, you know. So, I mean, the sympathy thing, I can't see why they would believe that. Because the Democratic Party is so terrible that they need anything they could get their hands on just to be relevant again, guys. Not sure why, you know, Joe Biden getting cancer would help the Democratic Party. So I don't really know what they were going with there. But, I mean, the simple fact that this guy had cancer, probably had cancer during his presidency too, guys. Probably in 2023, you know, 2024, things like that. Yeah, I know he had dementia in 2019. I know he was losing it up in here, up in his head in 2019, guys. But I honestly believe these people should be arrested for covering up Joe Biden's health, because at the end of the day, it's not really a joke when people say elder abuse. It's really elder abuse. You guys are pumping this old man though. This 80-plus-year-old man. Well, I don't know if Joe Biden's 80. I think he's 70, in his high 70s. I think he's 79 or something. Or probably 80 something. I don't know how old Joe Biden is, but yeah, they're pumping a 80-plus-year-old man with drugs. Then, you know, putting him in front of a camera thinking that he can actually run the country when you guys know that Joe Biden is cooked, everything about him is cooked. Yeah, y'all need to be going to jail because that's kind of making him doing things that he probably potentially didn't even want to do, guys. I mean, let's just be honest. If you're pumping him up with drugs and he's, a senile old man, Joe Biden, Sleepy Joe and all of this, if he's all of these things, then why do you guys keep putting him in front of a camera? That's the big, question that people are trying to understand. This cancer thing, guys, definitely was not just last week or the week before that. This guy had cancer. He's 82. Okay, yeah, I figured. Because I know Trump like 79 or something like that. They should be arrested though, ladies and gentlemen, for sure. But yes, guys, I'm gonna do another live stream. I'm gonna actually do a call-in show around 8 o'clock. If you guys want to tune into that, I would definitely tune into that because we're gonna be talking about a lot. We can talk about Biden having cancer and things like that. There are also a lot more things that we can be talking about. I actually went to a city hall today. It was really good. I spoke, and guys, I did a really good job. Yep. So, make sure if you guys want to tune in to the video that me speaking at City Hall today, it is up right now. If you guys want to check that out, and we're gonna be streaming something else really, really soon. But I do want to do a call-in show around 8 o'clock, guys. So just stick around, and I will see you guys in a minute, hopefully. Okay. And I'm out of here. Peace.